welcome back to our 2 Minute Tuesdays with Trish and Pastor Dave.
2 minute two.
Ooh, politics.
Oh, always fun. We do a political question every once in a while.
All right, here we go. What do you make of the modern Christian push into politics? Do you believe church and state should be separate? Does God even care about or belong in politics? That's from Tyson.
That's about 4 different questions altogether.
That's a lot.
So let's try to sort this out. First of all, church and state being separate is a relatively modern idea. I think it's a good idea, but it comes from the political side, not the church side. And in a lot of states before this, church and state have been intermingled, as they are throughout the world, and your mileage may vary on how good of an idea it is. I think for us in the United States, it's a bad idea, but again, it depends on who you are and where you are.
Right.
But God definitely does care what happens in the political sphere. I mean, Jesus talked about stuff that was very revolutionary to the Romans and to the Jewish Sanhedrin and various other authorities of his time. And God absolutely cares how we act politically. But that is different than saying God chooses a certain political party or a certain stance.
Right.
And that definition is really important because God cares about the same things in our big human relationships like politics as in our individual ones. Things like compassion and serving the neighbor and loving each other first and everything else second, right? That does not mean that God takes a moral stance that X is wrong or you always have to act in Y way, otherwise you're not a child of God. And this is where people get mixed up. They take their religion and their religious ideas, put it into politics, use the politics in order to enforce their power, and then say that's godly, where enforcing that power right there is in itself shutting out the neighbor, shutting down their voices, enforcing your own will, which is the opposite of what faith does. So we have to be very careful in saying God absolutely cares about politics and in some ways works through politics without saying God has a political stance that we happen to agree with.
All right, well, if you have more questions, he has an email.
pastor@sov-id.org.
And we have a website at myboisechurch.org and more YouTube videos like this at My Boise Church. All right, we'll see you next week.
Yay.